Welcome to another edition of the Live Well and Fully podcast. Through this podcast, we help women remember that they matter too. We spark new insights on changes they might desire for in their own lives so they can step forward confidently and turn their dreams into reality.
So hello everyone and welcome to Live Well and Fully. I'm Barbara Decker and I'm on the East Coast of the United States in Pennsylvania, and I'm very excited to introduce you to Uwe Dockhorn. So welcome, Uwe. And where are you today?
Thank you for having me, Barbara. It's a pleasure being here. I'm calling in from Germany, and it's in the south, from a small lake, beautiful lake, close to Munich, and it's in the south and also close to the Alps. So we have beautiful weather today, can't complain.
Sounds lovely. Now, I saw on your website that you also spend a lot of time in the US. Are you doing a lot of traveling these days?
Not yet, but thank you for asking. It's a good reminder. Yeah, I'm planning to come back. So at the moment, I'm just. Sorry.
You know, COVID might have interfered with all of those plans.
Exactly. So, but we're getting back into the rhythm of hopefully regular traveling back.
Good. So, for those of you who don't know, Uwe is known as the Lifestyle Liberator for high achievers and their families. And he's delivered more than 17,000, that number blows my mind, successful sessions for power couples all over the world. His approach is founded on principles of time freedom, autonomy, equality, and inner certainty that yield results in your business financially and in your relationships emotionally. The title of our interview today is How to Enjoy Unshakeable Togetherness, and that's spelled TWO, togetherness. More free time and better results at work while practically eliminating the risk of divorce. And I have to tell you that so many of the women I talk with crave a better relationship with their partners. So if you're ready, let's dive right in. Are you set to go?
Set to go.
Okay,
Right.
we have 7 minutes. For 7 questions, and a timer is displaying so you can kind of keep track, and I can kind of keep track of where we are. So question number 1, how do you help women in the second half of their life create an extraordinary life?
Well, that's an excellent question. So as you mentioned, with so many hours I've done this, I realized over time that from the perspective of the VIPs, as I call them, the very important partners at home of these high achiever families, they too often feel they kind of like reside down here while the breadwinner, of the family is up here. Of course, the VIPs, they resent that. They ask themselves, what about me? What's the next step in my career? Why don't you spend more time with me? The anguishing arguments start. The big D is looming at the horizon. And, when they decide to go that path of a divorce, it essentially means that they want to live, or they decided to live an independent life outside of marriage. So this is where I come into the picture, because what I do differently, and because I'm not a family therapist, I'm not a family counselor, I coach both partners at the same time, but separately. So they can regain their independence within their relationship and start to level up to each other. And we do this in regular evaluation sessions, which we call falling back in love sessions. And yeah, people love that. And so they can upgrade to an interdependent relationship where they cherish each other's independencies and being eye to eye again and enjoy unshakable togetherness.
That's wonderful. A lot of the people in my world have gone through a lot of trauma in their family, and of course that fractures the relationship and all their focus goes there. So having someone like you to help them reconnect to each other and to affirm the priorities that each of them have sounds wonderful. What is the actual problem that you solve?
Well, the actual problem is, you're in this relationship and you're feeling disconnected from your partner. You kind of lost the spark, or as I mentioned, you're arguing with each other even though you don't intend to, and you're experiencing a lack of passion and everything feels routine and mundane. And the things are not quite ideal, you feel it, but what you don't have, not yet at last, is a clear plan for what to do about it. And so this is where I come into the picture.
You help identify the action items, the next steps that they might take.
Yeah, it goes even further. So with the AIM experience, This is a system that goes 3 levels deep, and AIM stands for activation, implementation, and manifestation. So we first have to activate something that I call the letting go and letting in mechanism, which essentially enables you to liberate your vitality, you crack your code of personal transformation, and then you even activate your own anti-burnout system. So this is kind of like the foundation. And then second, we go into implementation, where we double your financial security. And from the VIP's perspective, that means that it's about the quality, not the quantity. They want to contribute. They not only want to provide emotionally, they want to provide financially to the family. So for all together, they achieve abundance in all 7 success areas of their life and create that respectful eye-to-eye intimacy. And lastly, that is a manifestation where they learn to master setbacks. And think about how much time it has taken to establish your old belief system, create an old map of reality as a reaction to something in your past. This was an extraordinary incident in your life without knowing better, of course. And, it's just normal. And it's also the reason why the AIM experience is more effective than others that are not taking the time to give you the necessary time and flexibility to learn from your setbacks and master them.
Gotcha. And I think you've already answered the 3rd question I was going to ask. Oh. So I'm going to ask the 4th one, which is, what are the common mistakes people make when trying to solve this problem?
Well, that's, common mistake is that they are not communicating on that interdependent level, which they don't know that they should be on that level. So in my experience, we have these 3 personal development paradigms. There's dependence land, danger zone, there's independence, the awakening zone, and then we have the interdependence zone. And because they're not aware that these exist, they fall back into their old false beliefs. And then they kind of are driven by their patterns in their life, and they experience something what I call also don't walk like an Egyptian effect, because they walk like this, and having this posture, which the hand signifies the behavior. There's the pattern here, and there's the belief system down here. They want to change something up here, and they don't realize that they got carried away by their belief system, which they initiated in the past without knowing better, of course. And so typically they fall into this trap of running in circles and are not even aware that there's something that they can change.
Gotcha. What is one valuable free resource that you offer that people might want to take advantage of now, Uwe?
Well, you already mentioned my case study, but in general, you can always go to my website. It's www.uwedockhorn.com. That's UWEDOCKHORN.com. And we have every first Tuesday of the month we have a live demonstration of how I help my clients, where I go a little bit more in depth how I help my clients. No credit card needed. It's very engaging. You learn a ton, and at the end, it's just as easy like, if you want to work with me, let's have a chat. So very valuable, and this is the best way to start and get in touch with what we do here.
Excellent. And we're almost out of time, so let me ask you my last question. What should I have asked you that I didn't ask you, and what's the answer?
So why I'm doing what I'm doing. So the answer depends on the time we have. Okay, so we're already at the...
You can go a little bit over.
I can go a little bit over. Okay, so let me give you the short version of that. So when I was 28, I was standing at the edge of a bridge, and I could see my breath as I slowly leaned forward and I let go. But at that moment, something happened. So for the very first time since my uncle and father had died, and after I lost everything else, I finally felt something inside me, and this drew me back from jumping. It literally saved my life. And that night, I learned a very important lesson. I realized that transformation requires more than letting go of the status quo. Without the other half of the equation, I mentioned this earlier, letting go just leaves you in free fall. So if all I had done on that bridge was let go, then I would not be here talking to you today. So you're probably wondering, what's the other half? Well, the second half of the equation is to feel, perceive, and let in what is already there. So letting go and letting in, it's a two-part mechanism, and they're only complete as a pair always. So on that bridge, all those years ago, I let in a small spark that grew into a powerful flame, and I promised myself that I will always help others to learn about that.
Now you are living that. So I'm very glad that you had that inspiration on the bridge and that it turned out the way it turned out, because you're making the world a better place for so many people.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. It's been a pleasure to talk with you. And let's talk again soon.
Yeah, hopefully we do so. Thank you so much, Barbara. It was a pleasure.
Okay. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to be notified when new episodes are released. Then visit www.livewellandfully.com/workshop to experience the Love Another Way framework firsthand.